This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. lvms.com.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Welcome in. Good morning. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Happy to be with you as always. Alex, we got a lot to get to today. It's the beginning of a new football week for us here on the show.
And we should have a very good one, as you saw with our thumbnail. Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, and we got Jordan Love and the Packers. So really looking forward to this Thursday night game.
Our guy DC will be joining us momentarily. That's, of course, Dwayne Colucci, if you're joining us for the first time. Race and Sportsbook Director up at the Rampart in Summerlin, Las Vegas. He'll be joining us momentarily once he's all ready to go. We can update you right now on the odds. And again, it's not just the NFL tonight, Alex White. It's also college football here tonight. We have what, quite frankly, is a perfect college football game where it's two mediocre ACC teams that will get a single window to themselves, a game that I know Chris and Vinny, we will have talked to in the past would have been like, well, if this game was buried on Saturday, no one would bet it.
That's true.
Because it's on Thursday, even against an NFL game, everyone will bet it. So we'll update those in a second. But two solid football games here tonight on the board.
Of course, NC State and Wake Forest is the game that Jeff is talking about here for college. I'm excited about that one, too. You're right. When they get these standalone spots, you really get to watch these teams that you kind of get lost on the Saturdays. There's so many games going on.
An ACC game, a good NFL game right now just for updating purposes. 3 in the NFL game. Green Bay favorite at home, and then NC State a 7-point favorite in Winston-Salem tonight. Not a far trip for NC State on the road at Wake Forest. All right, let's bring him in. Our good friend, the one and only Dwayne Colucci, joins us now. Colucci, good morning. It's good to see you here on a Thursday.
Always good to see you guys on a Thursday, without a doubt. You know, it's the start of the fresh weekend. That's always the way I look at it.
Oh, it 100% is. It's the beginning of the week. Let's be real. Monday's the end of the week now. Thursday through Monday. That's the way it goes. So, DC, we want to
Monday games. What, Jeff? Started like a couple of weeks ago, and we have them throughout January. There's a game guaranteed.
Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, my friend. I want to start in the college end of things, though. Don't worry. We'll get to the big game tonight between the Packers and the Commanders. Dwayne, I was just mentioning in the open, usually a game like this, NC State against Wake Forest, would get hidden on a Saturday afternoon. It would be a limited handle game. Dwayne, that's usually not the case, though, in these type of standalone Thursday college games, even up against the NFL monster, and especially a monster Week 2 game. NC State 7-point favorites tonight against Wake.
Yeah, ticket count is solid, Jeff, and nearly even. I'll be honest with you. The money is slightly in favor of Wake Forest, but like I said, this is an evenly bet matchup, and we're seeing a high ticket count and good handle on this game. And everybody wants to parlay it to the pro game. This is a very interesting game. I think NC State is pretty solid in this situation, but like you said, you're on the road, short travel distance, so it shouldn't really hurt. But we're seeing great handle, and we're going to continue to see it with the teasers and parlays headed into this heavyweight matchup, NFL matchup, I should say, but high interest in this game. And usually, like you said, if you have a complimentary game on a Thursday night, standalone game on a Friday night, it'll draw a little more interest and attraction as opposed to being on basically the added game schedule or the FCS. Not that this game would be on that, but it definitely adds more appeal, and it's more of a betting opportunity for the public, which they love. Once football starts, any game definitely could be bet.
Dwayne, I want to ask you about one SEC matchup we have that gets a lot more interesting. Florida coming in off a loss now and has to face LSU. The bettors seem to like the Florida Gators at least getting the points from 9 to 7.5. Can you tell us where the ticket count is and the money, and if you think this is going to move any more?
Well, I think it'll be tough, Alex, to get over that key number. Actually, the ticket count is massively in favor of LSU, but the sharps jumped all over Florida. That's where you get the big, straight bets on Florida that knock this line all the way down. It's hard to get to a key number of 7, especially in Baton Rouge. I was just talking to my man Jimmy Ott about that. Those guys are really fired up. Hopefully, Kelly will have them all ready, but there's a lot of parity that goes on in that LSU locker room and the surroundings, and in the off season and outside of the campus itself, which is definitely makes it interesting. Now, Florida's coming off that loss, but I still think LSU might be the better team in this matchup. We're getting plied with big money on Florida, but the ticket count and the general public, they're going to tease LSU down. I don't think it'll get to that key number of 7, but anything is possible because the sharps are taking the points in this matchup. I like LSU just a little bit.
Dwayne, this is a backloaded card this week. Not particularly great other than Clemson and Georgia Tech early. But this nightcap, the other big nightcap game tonight is tomorrow or Saturday, whatever day it is at this point. Notre Dame hosting Texas A&M. Dwayne,
I get confused myself.
Yeah, look, whatever it is, it's Thursday's Monday
it's a great
now.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So 6.5 here at DC. We saw this matchup last year. Of course, Notre Dame very different now. CJ Card makes his first career home start for Notre Dame. A&M 2-0, but not an overly impressive 2-0 against UTSA and Utah State. 6.5 now, south of 7 in this one on Saturday night in South Bend.
Yeah, it hasn't moved, Jeff. You're right. 6.5. So, we opened it. That's where it's sitting. Money is real close. Ticket count is real close. Slightly in favor of Notre Dame. Very well coached, though. We know Notre Dame and Texas A&M didn't look all that impressive in those 2 victories. But, you're still looking at a 6.5 point favorite. Notre Dame is going to be battle tested up until the end this year. You're looking at the rankings up there. They're definitely one of the teams that are going to be a force, in my opinion, down the stretch. They're in the top 10 right now. They have to maintain and win games like this to stay consistent and stay ahead of teams like Texas A&M that could slide into playoff position. So, I know we're talking, it's only like week 3, but this is a very important game for the Irish. I believe they're well coached and they will be prepared for this game. I like Notre Dame a little, but this is another matchup where, you get under 7 in these games and it becomes difficult to handicap. But we haven't moved. I'm seeing good two-way action, good two-way ticket count. I imagine the Notre Dame money will come in late, but, it isn't going to get past 7, I don't believe, in this game.
Talk about well coached. Let's talk about the Georgia Bulldogs going to Knoxville here, laying 3.5 on the road, but we know Kirby Smart definitely has the number here of the Tennessee Vols. What are you seeing in this one, ticket count, and do you like any side here?
I mean, this is a tough game, Alex. I'll be honest with you. It slightly came down. We opened it at 4. It's at 3.5 now. Ticket count is still in favor of Georgia. I think it could possibly get back to 4.5 in this matchup. Ticket count is 3-1 currently on Georgia. And we're going to see a lot of parlays and teasers, Alex, on this game. Both sides, hopefully, Georgia will bring their A game. But Tennessee is definitely capable in this matchup. And you are getting over a field goal. So keep your eye on this one. I think some Tennessee money will come in late, but I think we're going to see predominantly Georgia money, even though it came down from 4 to 3.5. Total is at 50 in this game, and we'll see how it plays out. I mean, we opened it at 50. We're not seeing much movement there.
DC, one last one on the college front. I touched on it a second ago, and this is really for these 9 a.m. Pacific games. This is the only one that really packs a punch early. Clemson and Georgia Tech. This is a big game for both teams. Clemson has to avoid that second loss. Georgia Tech, I mean, if they win this game, their schedule is super light until the final week of the year against Georgia. It's only 3. There is some question of will Haynes King play or not. He's going to play based off the way this game has been bet.
Yeah, this is a difficult matchup. We were all over Tech that opening week. We're seeing Clemson now at a 2.5 to 1 ticket count, and rightfully so, because Dabu's back is against the wall. Like you said, Jeff, you don't want to face that second loss. And Georgia Tech has an easy road after this game. Is Georgia Tech capable of pulling the upset? I think so. I mean, I think they could win this game. You're getting a field goal at home, but it is a huge, huge game. I believe the game means a lot more to Clemson, in my opinion. So this is a layoff for me, just because I know Dabu in this situation. They had a good transfer portal. They didn't look that good opening week, don't get me wrong, but now you start to get acclimated. You start to get going. This is going to be a tough, tough game. I can understand why the public bet it down slightly, but I'm going to lay off this game. We're seeing good action now on Clemson. I think it could go back to 3.5, maybe 4, but I'm leery of Georgia Tech. I like this team a lot. And like you said, the schedule is very favorable. This is the big game for them as well. So layoff game for me, but I anticipate good two-way action from the public here at the Rampart in South Point.
All right, Dwayne, let's go to the NFL here. We're going to start with your Cowboys. It's been a week since we've seen them played the Eagles very well. Of course, that Jalen Carter incident, so they didn't have their best defensive player. Tell me how you feel about this game coming up. Now, the Giants were everybody's kind of sleepy sweetheart. They get crushed by the Commanders. Cowboys look better than expected. Is this a spot now where maybe there's some overreaction and take the points? New York can keep it close here?
Yeah, definitely, Alex. I mean, don't buy into that. The Giants are synonymous. They never score a touchdown on opening week. But the key factor here, Alex, keep in mind, I think Dable is losing the locker room. Neighbors wants nothing to do with him. He won't put Jackson Dart in. I mean, Wilson looked horrible. Yeah, opening week. And, I don't know if the Giants have their head in the right mindset to compete with this Dallas team. Now, Dallas is not as good as they played opening week. They definitely got the benefit with Carter on the bench, and Dak played one of his best games in 5 seasons. So, for him to replicate that, maybe CD will take, the team on his back and make some of these catches this week. I think they definitely have a chance. They're definitely the favorite and the better team. It's just a matter of, can the Giants rectify those problems in the locker room? And like you said, Alex, they were the underdog darling and the sweetheart going in, and they just played terrible. So, I mean, this is kind of a layoff game to me. It's a dead number at 5.5. I mean, I'll be rooting for my Cowboys, don't get me wrong, but, if you had a knife to my back, I might take the points in this situation. Very difficult game to handicap, despite Dallas winning, 17 in a row against the Giants. So you got that working for you too if you bet on my Cowboys. And if that could replicate that game, they'll definitely win. And if the defense could get some pressure on Russell Wilson and maybe even Dart if he comes in and the Giants aren't moving the ball, Dallas will win this game. I mean, they looked perfect defensively other than sealing Jalen Hurts in that opening game. And that's a direct, Micah Parsons isn't there. That's why. So, this is a tough game to handicap. Any NFC East divisional game is tough to handicap. But I'll stick with, if I had to, I would take the points, the Giants, but I'll be rooting for my Cowboys.
Dwayne, the other New York team, and against the team that actually does play in the state of New York as well, Buffalo on the road at the Jets. Obviously, the miraculous comeback on Sunday night by the Bills to somehow steal that game from Baltimore. The Jets scored 32. It wasn't enough against Pittsburgh. You saw some 7s early. Those were gobbled up pretty quickly. Been stuck on 6.5 now for a few days with the Jets getting it at home and a total in the mid-40s at 46.5.
How did they win that game? Jeff, I had Buffalo win that game. I don't understand. I mean, the Jets looked really good opening week. Buffalo looked horrible until the 10-minute mark. So I don't know. Did Baltimore just blow it? I mean, they have repetition of doing that against top teams. So I mean, Lamar looked really good. Henry fumbled away the game. Bills, Josh Allen's phenomenal. He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, bar none. That includes Patrick Mahomes and the rest of them and Lamar Jackson. So, you got that going for you when you're betting on Buffalo. This is a tough spot, though, coming off that emotional high. Now you have to travel to the Jets. There's going to be MetLife is going to be stoked up. The Jets have a much better team this year. And definitely Sauce looked really good, but the secondary other than Sauce looked horrible. So if Josh Allen starts to really move the ball and throw the ball downfield, that could be very, very successful. But Brees looked good. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Garrett Wilson's got to make a few big catches, and Fields running around could definitely confuse Buffalo. Buffalo's defense didn't look all that good. I mean, Baltimore was shredding until the fourth quarter. This is a tough game. I might like your Jets in this situation. I'll be honest with you. Ticket count, though, I mean, is about 8-1 on Buffalo, and the money is 2.5-1. So that's going to happen. And getting back to Alex, that last game you asked me about, Cowboys are 12-1 on the ticket count and about 13-1 on the money count.
Oh, boy.
When you start seeing the public, ply these games, I like to go against them, to be honest with you. That's why I slightly favor the two New York teams, not that Buffalo isn't a New York team. Let's say the two New Jersey teams this week. Buffalo is the only New York team. Let's straighten that out. The Jets stopped playing in Shea a long time ago, right, Jeff?
Yeah. Well, I was very much not alive when they were still playing at Shea. So,
right.
But it's and we'll go to the big game of the weekend in a second, Alex. But I just want to throw this out there. I'm very curious to see how this total, Dwayne, in that Jet Bill game goes, because both of those teams. Why, they were the two highest scoring games of the weekend last weekend. The Buffalo game, which had 81, and the Jet and the Steeler game, which had 66. Now, granted, Buffalo was chasing the whole game, but I know we can't overreact to 1 week, but mid-40s with both of those defenses, Buffalo couldn't stop the run. The Jets couldn't stop the pass. Maybe they regressed to the mean, boy.
Those are the two most offensively aggressive teams in the AFC East, because, the Patriots and Miami can't score. So, definitely you can look at it. It's up a half a point, Jeff. Don't get me wrong. It's up to 46.5 from the 46 opener. But Buffalo might be a little more tighter this week. They had a lot to do, and they were able to make up ground because of the mistakes that Baltimore made. Plus, you have to take into consideration, will Fields make mistakes this week as well? This may be a little more of a ball control type of offense where the Jets are trying and run the ball and keep the Buffalo offense off the field, especially at home. This is a very interesting matchup. Don't sell the Jets short. I mean, they're a much better team than they have been. And, Aaron Rodgers just put that team into disarray. And you don't want to compare Rodgers and Fields, but it's a better scenario for the team. I think they're more complacent. I think they're happier in the locker room currently. Glenn is definitely a motivator and a great coach. So let's keep this in mind, that the Jets do have a chance in this game, especially after Buffalo had, the emotional high. That was incredible comeback last weekend.
One of the toughest games to handicap here, Dwayne. I'll probably stay away from it because the Eagles are laying a point on the road against Kansas City. We know this is the revenge game from the Super Bowl, but do the Chiefs have what it takes, or is it a down year for them? We know Xavier Worthy got a little banged up, and Philly looked a little questionable. We know that they made some changes on defense, but they didn't have Jalen Carter once again. So I don't know what to do here. I think it's a slight overreaction. I'd like to back Andy Reid here at home, getting a point. What do you think?
Chiefs can't get out of their own way, right, Alex? I mean, come on. Kelsey's injuring his own teammate. The Chiefs don't have a chance. I mean, this is a tough situation now for the Eagles, to come off of another game where that was an emotional high. You beat your arch rival, even though they're not supposed to be right there. You sent a message. You're definitely going to be geared up when you play the Commanders. So you're traveling to Kansas City. Kansas City is a very difficult atmosphere to play in. If Pacheco could run the ball, that definitely will help. Get the ball to Kelsey a little bit, play a little ball control. Carter will be back. That's very important for the Eagles. Eagles might be the best team in the NFL. I'll be honest with you. They're very difficult to stop and get a read on. A.J. Brown did absolutely nothing, and they still beat the Cowboys. So they're going to be trying to get the ball to him a little more. I think the Chiefs will do a much better job than the Cowboys did shadowing Jalen Hurts. So there's always that possibility. I smell something fishy here. This line is really low. Alex, you might have to take the point here. Believe it or not, I think the Chiefs definitely have a chance in this game. We're seeing a ticket count that is slightly in favor of the Eagles, but the money count is 3-1 in favor of the Eagles. I'll take the Chiefs in this spot. I like them a little bit, but it's hard to like them without all these wide receiver weapons and them at full capacity. Once they get to full capacity, they'll be even more enamoring from a betting perspective.
Dwayne, one last one before we get to tonight's game, which is an epic showdown on a Thursday. But Sunday night, I want to bring up how Atlanta has gotten just plied with action here, all the way down to 3.5. We should have taken that 5.5 on Monday, Alex. The 3.5, all the way now against Minnesota. Vikings favored at home off their Monday night win. Atlanta lost in agonizing Falcon fashion past Sunday, missing a field goal that would have forced OT. Total 44.5 on this one, DC.
Yeah, this is a tough matchup. I'll be honest with you. JJ looked really good in that fourth quarter. I mean, he lit it up. He took the game from the Bears. And you saw that Hart diving into the end zone, getting the completions he needed, getting Jefferson involved. JJ McCarthy may be a stud that we didn't realize. And I think he could definitely win this game. That was a heartbreaking loss for Atlanta. Like you said, missing field goals, fumbling the game away, bad calls. They took a 7 off the board, I believe, late in that game for Atlanta. It's going to be a definite dogfight. I understand the public taking Atlanta in this position. Like you said, I'm looking at the money, and it's almost 2-1 in favor of Atlanta. But once again, we have a game here where you have the ticket count in favor of the Vikings, because all the general public, they see that. You could tease it down. You definitely have a chance. You're looking at the odds to win Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, they have Bijan Robinson, who's right at the top. Yet, I think Jefferson is the better player, in my opinion. So if McCarthy could get this offense rolling and the defense could play within themselves, definitely Minnesota is going to be a factor in that division. They already got a divisional win. Now you're at home again. Let's see how this game plays out. Slightly like the Vikings, I'm not sold on Penix yet.
Dwayne, I love the information. I'm taking notes over here. Both New York teams. Public's going against right there. I like the Falcons now, getting 3.5. You're telling me everybody's overreacting to the Vikings. Tell me about the Lions and the Bears. I know a lot of people are selling the Lions completely. They looked awful against the Packers. Bears, of course, we know what happened Monday night. Where's the ticket count? Where's the money? And then your opinion on these two teams and this matchup here. Very important for both of them.
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth, Alex. I mean, this is a tough game to get a read on. The Lions looked so bad. I'm pulling up the numbers now. Like you said, I mean, can they improve? How's this game going to play out? I think now that Campbell, he's kind of under the knife actually now, Alex. I mean, now everybody's focusing in on and remembering that terrible playoff loss. So, I think the Lions could bounce back. Don't get me wrong. We're seeing a 6-point spread. I think Caleb, he doesn't really have it. I feel that. And this is why you're seeing the ticket count superior in favor of the Lions right now. Let me count it up. It's about 6-1 right now. And the money is in a 10-1 grasp. So we'll be rooting for the Bears. The Lions are getting plied. Nobody's off the Lions yet. I think everybody anticipated Green Bay to have that little edge opening week. I like the Lions in that game, but they look god-awful. You're right. Goff really has to improve. Get the ball to Amon St. Brown. This Bears defense definitely is susceptible. You've seen McCarthy start to shred when everything got in sync. I think the Lions win this game in a blowout, and I hate to say that because we're going to need the Bears desperately. This game could get to 7. I see 6.5, maybe not the key 7, but it could get there. Everybody's going to be teasing and betting the Lions in parlays, straight bets thus far. Like I said, the ticket count is huge. The money count is huge. We're going to need the Bears from a bookmaker perspective. I think this is a good spot for the Lions. It's their whole season. If they lose here to the Bears, think about that. 0-2 in the division, 0-2 to start the season, and you're talking about a team that was in the top 5 perceived in the NFC. So this game is huge, even though it's the second game of the season for the Lions. The Bears, everybody knows they're the fourth best team in that division. They can maybe shake it up a little. Caleb has to have a huge game. I don't know if he's capable, though. Is his mindset in the game? He looked like he was really disappointed at the end of that Minnesota game, but the play wasn't there in the fourth quarter. I like the Lions here, but I'll be rooting for the Bears.
By the way, if Detroit starts 0-2, the reward is a trip to Baltimore next Monday night. So there you go.
Forget it. That's what I'm saying. So when you look at the logistics of that, Jeff is right. They have to win this game, but that doesn't mean anything in the NFL.
No, not at all. All right, let's go to tonight. What a great matchup to kick off Thursday Night Football on Prime this year. Of course, there was a Thursday night game last week, I should say. Green Bay's 3 against Washington. Totals 49. Kaluch, this is a really good game. Washington's defense was better than expected, but granted, the Giants haven't scored an opening day touchdown since 2020. But the Packers, Dwayne, boy, Green Bay was so good against Detroit. I know that maybe the Lions are going to regress a little, but Packers were as impressive as anyone. 3-49 here tonight with the Packers at home against Washington.
Love Jaden Daniels without any pressure on his shoulders, I'll be honest with you. Now, all of a sudden, we're back to the Favre glory days, the Aaron Rodgers glory days. It's one win, guys. Let's relax. They had to be prepared. Parsons definitely had them on an emotional high. It's still a Matt LaFleur coach team. That's why you're only seeing 3. If this was a Packer juggernaut that people thought could dominate the NFC, you would see 4, 5. But no, it's 3. I like Jaden Daniels in this spot. I think the Commanders are definitely going to move the ball. Debo was involved. McLaurin now will definitely be on his second week, even more involved. We're seeing a slight ticket count advantage for the Packers, naturally. Money is close, though, slightly in favor of the Packers, but everybody respects Washington. They know what they bring to the table. They're the young team that is definitely at the top of the NFC. They need to keep this momentum going. I'll take the points all day in this situation, especially 3. If it could get to over 3, I'll even jump on it more. We need the Commanders from my side of the counter, but there's still a lot of wagering left to be done, before kickoff, and the money is real tight right now. I'm not sold on the Packers. I definitely think the Commanders could compete here. Like you said, that defense looked even more improved. Force Love to make mistakes, and you win the game.
3, I would love to see a 3.5 as well if it was available for a little bit earlier this week. There are some heavily juiced 3.5s out there, but we're talking minus one. We're talking minus 125.
That's why we don't do the juice. I mean, the juice is just so unappealing. There's a property that controls a lot of properties around town, and I've heard that they have on 2-team teasers minus 160, 165. That's unheard of. So this is why we don't do the juice thing at the Rampart in South Point. Credit always to Chris Andrews, one of the best bookmakers I've ever been around in my life, and Vinny too. I mean, these guys are the best. So come down here and get some value when you're betting. Forget about that vig and that juice. Definitely, like you said, when the juice gets too high, is the half point even worth it when you're laying even extra and extra more and more money? I don't know if it'll get to 3.5 again, because like I said, the splits are very tight here at the Rampart and South Point. But there's definitely some value then if you're betting on the Packers, because it's going to remain at 3.
Dwayne Colucci, everyone. NY Bookie Dwayne on the tweets up at the Rampart, Race and Sportsbook Director. Go give him a visit. DC, pleasure as always. Thanks for hanging with us this morning.
Definitely, Jeff. I'll see you on Sunday. I know that. And got to drag Alex down one of these weeks. We're going to have a great time. Jeff will tell you. Nomois opening the 13th. So that's
there we go.
105 years in Manhattan. I got my little taste testing today at 4:30. So I'll let you guys know.
Please.
I know it's going to be off the hook. And Ipazzi is open now. Fabio's doing a fabulous job. The restaurant amenities at the Rampart now are second to none. And we're constantly packed. And we're only improving and adding more. We're going to have a wine bar. We're going to have a burger stand. We have already the oyster bar is getting ready to open, and the pizza. Forget about it. This is the best place in Summerlin, without a doubt. Local Las Vegas. Come and see me. I'll take care of you, especially with the horse racing and the football. It's just a great time to come down to the Rampart. We got $500 we give away each and every Tuesday. Just swipe your Rampart rewards card when you're making your football wagers. $1 gets you an entry. So as much as you bet, that's how many entries.
Dwayne Colucci, everybody. Dwayne, thanks. I think I'll see you on Saturday this week, actually. So we'll see you this weekend one way or another. Dwayne Colucci, everyone, and he is frozen.
That's
so
right.
there we go. We'll see you later there, our guy, Dwayne Colucci. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, our thoughts on tonight's game. Commanders, Packers, who do we have? What props do we like? And much more when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Big thanks to our guy, DC, Dwayne Colucci, joining us every Thursday now at the top of the show to begin your football week right here on Sports by the Book. Again, we'll have Chris Andrews every Monday. Of course, Football Frenzy now at noon on Friday as well, in addition to our normal 10 a.m. slot. So a lot of football as expected at this time of the year. All right, let's get to it. Tonight, Green Bay, Washington at Lambeau Field. Both teams 1-0. Both teams win comfortably week one. Washington didn't really have to do much, Alex, against the Giants, a 21-6 win, and Giants offense just immensely struggled. They've legitimately gone 4 years without a week one touchdown now, which is almost impossible. But the Commanders took full advantage of that. And then the Packers, we talked about it yesterday in our power rankings. Green Bay was vaulted up by both of us just because of how impressive they were in putting it on the Lions, 27-13. It was 27-6 with less than a minute to go before the rookie Tesla made that absurd touchdown catch. It was a complete destruction in favor of the Packers last week. They're 3 tonight. The total is 49 at Lambeau, and what seems to be a reasonable weather game today in Green Bay as well.
High expectations for both teams going into the year, and I think both teams did what they were supposed to do and had to do in week one. And yeah, you can argue that Green Bay's was a little more impressive because, I mean, the Lions' best offense by far last year, especially points and yards per game. So they really were impressive holding them to 13 points in that first game. But on the other side, Jaden Daniels, it's his second year in the league, and everybody expected a huge sophomore slump. Still to be seen. It could still happen, but I like what I saw from him. I like the additions that they made. They can stop the run finally, so that's really good to see. Their defense was definitely a liability last year. I took the 3.5. I knew I wanted to be on that side with the dog here. I think they're live to win this game outright. I definitely think they're going to make it interesting, and I think it could be a field goal game. So a lot of value if you can find that hook there, but I still like the 3. Really, I made it 2 with the Packers, so not a huge value price. You know, I usually like 2.5 difference on the sides, but I think it's worth it in this one, and I like the way the Commanders are playing. I like the confidence they are playing with for sure.
If you are in a newer jurisdiction, there are 3.5s, 15 available. Just a matter of if that's worth 5 cents. I could make the argument that it is. I know most books, if you try to take that half, it'll go to minus 30 out here.
Yeah.
Minus 25. It might be worth it in that regard. BetMGM out here is 3 even. So that also is a telltale sign that we might see another 3.5 at some point. I'm with you. I like the dog in this game. I know Jordan Love was spectacular in week 1, and we'll look at both Daniels and Love props in a few moments here. But Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback. And I know Jaden Daniels has only been in the league for 18 regular season games now, but he didn't have to do much of anything, and he still looked impressive last week against the Giants. There's Daniels' props. By the way, on the left side of the screen here, those are the South Point odds. On the right side of the screen, those are DraftKings odds. So shop around as always, and those graphics prove that to you. I would be looking to take Jaden Daniels over a touchdown and a half passing at plus 120. I think that's a reasonable plus price. I don't love Washington's running back room. Obviously, Bob is now heading up that backfield. Crosby Merritt, the rookie, but I would look to play Jaden Daniels props tonight. I can't expect Green Bay's pass defense to be as good as it was a week ago. But, as always, we know Green Bay's pass rush now with the addition of Micah Parsons. You have to look at it a little bit differently, Alex. But that would be the only Jaden Daniels-related prop over a touchdown and a half passing tonight at a plus price.
Crosby Merritt last week did score his first touchdown, had 82 rushing yards. I thought it was going to be a great opportunity to kind of fade him and take the unders. It's already been bet down for him. I like that prop for Jaden Daniels. I pulled off all of his stats from last year, his game logs, and, I mean, his median is 2 passing touchdowns on the year. Of course, we know he had an outstanding year, but even on the road, had at least 1 in every road game except for the very first one at Tampa Bay. That was 0, but 1 or 2 in every single road game. And looking at his numbers on the road, they went up. His passing completion went up on the road, but his attempts went down. So I think they try and keep him out of trouble. Cliff Kingsbury, that is. And I like him to score a touchdown too, if you can find a good enough price, because he is kind of priced like a running back right now. But early in the season, he had a lot of rushing touchdowns. I think that's more him just making the play work, right? But later on in the season, had the plays, used the running backs more there. But I like him to score. I like both of those, over 1.5, and or if you can find over 2 to 1 for him to score anytime touchdown.
Yeah, I can't really blame you on that. There's the whole list of the anytime touchdowns. DK and FanDuel. FanDuel's got the ones with the star. Jacobs, oh boy, you're laying $2. No, thank you.
Wow.
On that. I know Deebo Samuel looked great last week, but I think Terry McLaurin probably is your guy here tonight on the Washington end of things.
I'm with you there.
Running back, as you mentioned, you got Crosby Merritt and you got Eckler, and Chris Brooks could also be involved in this game. We'll see who the healthy scratch is between him and Rodriguez. Rodriguez was last week for Washington. It could be some value down the board. There's not much that I love on this anytime touchdown market here tonight. I guess the only price that stands out for the long shots are Dontavian Wicks. But again, figuring out the Green Bay wide receiver collection has been very difficult over the years. Last week it was Reed and Kraft who had the big games. Dobbs even had a good game as well. But it's hard to figure out that Green Bay room. They're all similar.
They really are. There might be a little bit of value there on Dobbs anytime touchdown, because you're right, he did have a big game yards wise, but didn't get into the end zone. It might be a one for him here. Looking at some of those numbers, I'm waiting for Matthew Golden. Let's go. He's got to step up. They've been talking a lot about him. They like this rookie, so waiting to see if he can make an impact here for that offense. You know,
it's again weird room for Green Bay. Last week the rookie had 2 for 16. It was Dobbs who had 68. That was it. That was the lead.
Yeah.
The leading Reed had the most receptions with 3 last week. Again, they were in command the whole game. It's funny because if you look at yards per play wise in the second half, Green Bay really didn't do anything, but they didn't have to. They had a big lead. By the way, Jacobs, 18.5 attempts. Last week he had 19, so it's right on the number for that. 77.5 rushing yards. Last week Jacobs had 19 carries for 66. Reed, as I mentioned, leading receiver by receptions last week with 3. He did score a touchdown. Dobbs only had 2 catches, but it was 68 yards. So it was one big play really for Dobbs. So again, Green Bay props are hard for me unless I think Jacobs is going to have a big rushing game. They're a lot more difficult for me than the Washington side of things tonight.
I completely agree, because my first instinct was to kind of go under in Jordan Love. You know, they do want to run first and get Josh Jacobs involved here. So looking at his attempts, maybe going under that number. I got to pull that up of what Ryan had for both sides and both books, but here we go. Over 230. Over 234 and a half, juiced a little bit. So I would go under there. His median number is 224 with yards, or going under with attempts at 29 and a half. Median number is 28. Try and get the run game. I think we're going to see both teams. I don't expect a whole lot of scoring here. I think both can control it, slow it down, rely on the run game, and methodical. And yeah, are you expecting Mr. Dan Quinn to go for it on all these fourth downs?
When you have Jaden Daniels, why not? Why not? They were the most successful team in the NFL on fourth downs a year ago. Again, they led the league. They were approaching 80%, almost unheard of in the league last week for Washington against the Giants on fourth down. They did not attempt one. So he might have to make up some ground on that one. By the way, you see the Jordan Love props on there. South Point on the left, DraftKings on the right. Higher numbers on DraftKings for basically everything, including the yardage. 232 and a half here at South Point, 234 and a half over at DraftKings. It is 1.5 passing touchdowns. The under juiced at DK. It's a flat -110 on both sides here. Interception, yes, -115 on Jordan Love. Did not throw one a week ago. I might not mind that here tonight against, again, I don't really like Washington's defense. We talked about that during the offseason, Alex, but a little more ball hockey for the Commanders. But you and I both like Washington tonight. I think that's kind of where we're kind of still feeling it out prop-wise, but we like the Commanders here tonight. That seems to be our favorite thing, period, props and traditional ways of going about it, Alex.
It'll be interesting. I think it's important for Jordan Love to not turn the ball over. Like you said, he didn't last week. And last year, he started off the season, the first 7 games, he had an interception for him. And then he had a nice, clean last 7 of no interception. So he wants to keep that going there. I'm not going to jump in on that one. I do like under for, I think I like his yards under even more than his attempts there. So I'm going to add that one to my list. But yep, like the points with the dog here, and some Jaden Daniel props I'll be looking at.
Anything else we need to be looking at here tonight, Alex, in this one between the Packers and the Commanders?
I'm with you. I like Scary Terry. I like McLaurin to have a big game here in the second. I like what we saw with how they used Debo. Of course, had some rushing and receiving yards like he used to in San Francisco, but I think it'll be a Terry McLaurin night.
I was impressed with the burst of Debo Samuel last week.
Me
that
too.
seemed to be gone in San Francisco by the end. But McLaurin, as you saw on that last screen, 4.5 on his receptions. I like that over. I think this is a McLaurin night for Washington. If they're going to pull the upset, it's going to be on the hands of Terry McLaurin. 4.5 on the receptions, juiced to the under. Like that plus price. 54.5 receiving yards. Like that over as well. Again, this running back room for Washington's a little bit perplexing. We saw Bob a week ago. We could very easily see Eckler be the guy. Only 22.5 rushing yards as a prop here at this one. Of course, 3.5 receptions. So you could see both for Eckler and then Debo.
Yeah.
I might actually look at a Debo like longest rush prop. That would be the thing that I would be interested in, going a little bit off the board here and taking something along the rushing for Debo Samuel. His longest reception is 21.5 here tonight, Alex.
I do like that, looking for rushing there with him. You're right, because it is a running back by committee right now. We'll see if that changes and they get a true number 1. But you mentioned Terry McLaurin. What was his receiving yards?
54.5.
Yeah, I like that too. And to get in a plus price with over receptions, I'm definitely going to be on one of those and on the board because it's not going to stay that low. We saw him and Jaden Daniels' connection last year, and I think they could pick it up from where they left off.
All right, let's shift gears. There's one other football game tonight, and it's the classic college football Thursday night game. We get two teams that are pretty average, even though NC State got a nice win last week. The non-conference conference game against Virginia, they end up winning and covering all the closing numbers as well. They now go on the road again, short trip from Raleigh to Winston-Salem for NC State to take on the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest, who in this new Jake Dickert era have looked thoroughly unimpressive so far in their first 2 games. They are 2-0, so you got to give them credit. They beat up on FCS Western Carolina last week, but the week before they played Kennesaw and only beat them 10-9. And Kennesaw is one of the weaker FBS teams there are. We're at 7 with NC State laying it, Alex. There are not really any 7.5s out there, so it's really just 7 in the market, a total of 53 on this one tonight in the ACC.
I like Wake here, another dog for me, but at home getting 7 points. Is NC State really that much better that they should be laying 7 points in their first conference game here? I know they just saw Virginia. They were pretty fortunate to get that win, to be honest, but I don't want to take too much from that Kennesaw State game in week 1. It's a new coaching staff. Jake Dickert comes over from Wazoo. Had a winning record there, 23-20 overall, defensive minded, and kind of figuring out his quarterbacks as well. So Ashford will be the starting quarterback for them so far on the year. Completed 66% of his passes, 445 yards, 8.9 yards per attempt, and 1 passing touchdown, 1 interception. Does have 2 rushing touchdowns as well. It's funny, CJ Bailey on the other side for NC State. Little more experience. He had have to jump in as the starter last year for the Wolfpack, but his numbers this year, very, very similar to Ashford. So I think we're pretty even on both sides there. I do think NC State has more talent and recruiting-wise has gotten more guys there. Kind of a rebuild for Wake Forest. NC State has home revenge. Wake went there last year and beat them, so that's on their mind. But Wake doesn't care, and this new head coach doesn't care. He's going to be ready for them. He wants to give it his all, try and get this first conference win here with his new team. Taking the 7 points. I think it's just too many here.
This is more just the fate of NC State for me. I'm not sure they should be a touchdown favorite against a Power 4 that isn't Stanford at this point. So, again, not that I like Wake. I don't think they're any good. I think Wake's probably a 4-8, 5-7 team this year. But NC State's 7 on the road? Really?
Exactly.
Look, if you blow me out, so be it. So be it. If NC State wins by 17, you know what? You tip your hat. You move to the games tomorrow night in college football. So I'm with you. It would only be a take of the 7, and make sure you get the 7. I don't think we'll see 7.5. Don't go lower. Just get the whole touchdown. And you know what? If NC State wins by a touchdown, get your money back and live to fight another day with NC State and Wake tonight. Both of us liking the Demon Deacons getting a touchdown here tonight. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, whiteboard, trivia, poll, and a short card of baseball when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book.
Sports by the Book. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
We're back in at Sports by the Book, wrapping things up here on a Thursday. Thank you all for joining us. Dean, Daryl, active in the chat as well. Trivia question is live, or has already been answered, I should say. And also, we got a poll question, which we'll hit a little bit later. But first, let's get to some baseball. And let's start in Miami, Alex White. The Marlins and the Nats here in this one. Mackenzie Gore makes his return off the IL for Washington against Ryan Weathers here today. Minus 115 on the Fish, even money on the Nats, and a total of eight, I should say, on this one.
I knew it was a Marlins spot yesterday. I'm not going to touch this one between these two. It's been all Nationals until yesterday, and both of these guys are coming off of some IL stink. So I don't know what we're going to get from either of them. I'm just going to pass. If anything, I'd lean to the over. I think we could get some runs as we have in this series.
Can't really fault you for going over in any of these games now, right? Like with the way that these two teams have pitched in this series, all three games have gone over, and they've really not been particularly close on the total either. So can't fault you again, even with Gore's return and Weathers' return. Again, 8, no problem with that, going over it. All right, let's go to Philadelphia next. The Mets are in a big-time spiral right now. They're leading the wild card races now down to 2 over San Francisco and Cincinnati. Reds with a big series win in San Diego and now are off before they go to Sacramento for 3. It's David Peterson and Jesus Luzardo as the Phils look to go up 11 on New York, and pretty much, again, it's over, but they would have a chance to clinch this weekend if they could win here tonight. The Mets, again, just trying to hold on for dear life to that final wild card spot. Luzardo and Peterson, and Luzardo a betting favorite here tonight, as he will be a minus 125 for the full game and a minus 135 for the first 5.
Do you think we could finally get an under like we saw in game 1?
Unlikely.
That's where I'm leaning with these two. So I'm going to pass. I also really like David Peterson. Can he be the guy to stop this losing streak to the Phillies? I think he could be, but plus 110 is not enough to jump in when they're on a 5-game losing streak and the Phillies are feeling good, won 3 in a row here against the Mets. So I'm just going to pass. The other way you look at it, 125 is a very cheap price here for the Phillies. So nothing for me in this one between these two.
Let's go to San Diego next. Rockies get swept in L.A., and their reward is they get to spend 4 days in San Diego. That's not too bad, even though probably going to be looking at losing 3 out of 4 at least here in this one. Vasquez is a minus 260 favorite. That is a large price on a guy who's not reliable here. Plus 220 on Brown, and the total's 8.5 for this one, Alex.
It would only be the home team and that big number. Have to look for a way, maybe first 5, minus half a run, or even taking a shot with the run line here. We saw the Dodgers do it to the Rockies. Padres are past for me, but it's not. I like way too many favorites today. This is not my favorite with Randy Vasquez going.
All right, let's go to the south side of Chicago. We can be quick here. White Sox and Rays. Seymour and Smith. The total, there's some 7.5s out there, including here at the South Point. It's minus 125 on Tampa on the road, Alex.
I do like this one. I'm going to have to add it to my card here. I like Tampa Bay. They are technically still playing for a wild card spot. I think they can get up here against the White Sox and Shane Smith, which Shane Smith is one of the pitchers of Chicago that I like to back. But, he's given up 4 earned runs in 2 of his last 4 starts. And on the other side, Seymour's been pretty good. He's of his 5 starts, they've all been 1 earned run or less, except for 1, and that was against New York. I don't think the White Sox are going to do that like New York did. Minus 125, pretty good price here on the Rays. New York did.
Let's go to Toronto next. The Blue Jays fall out of the number 1 seed in the AL. And again, high drama so far in that series with the Astros and the Jays. 2 1-run games. Astros blow it in the 8th, but win it in the 9th, 3-2. And that was big because Seattle won in extra innings last night. Somehow your game stayed under in that one. I don't know how, but the lead is still 1 for Houston over Seattle, and the lead is still 2.5 over Texas because Texas and Seattle haven't lost this week. So here you go. Big spot for the Stros in this one, again, with Javier against Kevin Gausman. Gausman's minus 155 and a total 8.5, Alex.
let's just start with starting pitcher. Who do you think we have the advantage here?
That would be Toronto.
Definitely Gausman on that side. So, I mean, I think you got to take the price here with the Blue Jays now kind of playing for that 1 seed again. So a little bit more fight in them. Christian Javier, we haven't seen much from him, but we know that we're always going to see runs. And usually the Astros score runs too. They're just very high scoring games. So I think Gausman can pitch good here though. And I think you have the starting pitching advantage. I think you got the offense advantage. I think you even got the bullpen pretty even here. So Toronto for me, another favorite I like going into this Thursday.
Well, here's the next team that's up with a favorite, the Yankees, who have lost the first two. And the Detroit Tigers are the first team in over 50 years at either Yankee Stadium, the new one or the old one, to score 10+ in back-to-back games against the Yankees, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. But here you go. Tigers with a chance at a 3-game sweep here against the Bombers. The big-time rookie Cam Schlittler on the bump for the Bombers. I'll be holding on the other side. I mean, Cam's minus 160 here with a total of 8.5, Alex.
He's been so good for New York,
has.
right? I think it's got to be a New York spot here. And I know it's scary because we got 23 runs total for the Tigers in the last 2 days. But a lot of those have been self-inflicted, right? The pitchers have walked guys, couple errors. So I think that the Yankees can play well here. I don't want to lay that big price, though, and I really don't trust the bullpen that much. So I'm going to lay half a run in the first 5, minus 110 here with New York.
Can't blame you. Again, Yankees still in good shape, obviously, to make the postseason, but they had an opportunity to realistically get this even closer on Toronto. They haven't. Red Sox and them are in a virtual tie. By the way, Yankees begin a 3-gamer in Boston this weekend. And then, as we talked about, the Yankees schedule after this wild 2-week stretch gets hilariously easy with Minnesota, 2 series against Baltimore, and a series against the White Sox. So a Toronto loss and a Yankee win today, and it's 2. Crazier things have happened down the stretch with how easy that Yankee schedule gets after that series in Boston over the weekend.
Maybe Baltimore can keep it going here.
Maybe.
Make it.
Maybe. Orioles currently tied against Pittsburgh 2-2 in the bottom of the third. All right, last 2, Cleveland and Kansas City. Guardians, both of these teams kind of missed opportunities. Whoever it was had to really sweep this series to stay in it. Royals win last night.
Yep.
They're 3.5 for Cleveland, 4 for the Royals. The deficit's to Seattle. I think they're both done, honestly. Kulik and Williams. I like Gavin Williams, minus 135 here in this one, 7.5 on the total, even though Kulik has been undervalued all year long.
I mean, the only way I was looking at this is taking the plus price here with, both of them, like you said, kind of out of it now, still kind of trying, little desperation here. I think they're pretty even. Yes, Gavin Williams is better than Kulik, but I think he could pitch well here. Median numbers, they are pretty even, so it would only be the dog or pass for me on this one.
The last one up, we go to Seattle. Jose Soriano got scratched yesterday, so he's going to go tonight in Seattle for the Angels. Mariners throw Bryce Miller, who's been basically their weakest starter all year long. Yeah. Mariners sweep the Cardinals, do what they needed to do. They stay 1 behind Houston entering today's action. We've kind of mentioned Soriano all year on the Angels side. Bad as a favorite, good as an underdog. Underdog here tonight is plus 140.
I think we got to go first 5, though. Well,
plus 120.
Seattle just played that crazy extra innings. How many arms do they have, right? So maybe it is just full game here, taking that plus price. I think the numbers are pretty right. If you're just going team by team and what the book should put out, it is close to this. But just feel-wise, spot-wise, Mariners coming off of that extra inning game and find a way to get the win in 11. I think you got to take a shot here, first 5 or full game with Soriano on the bump. I think he gives them a fighting chance in this game. So I'll split my unit size and go half on each, plus 120, plus 140 for the Angels.
There we go. Hey, look, win 1, you're ahead.
That's right.
That's all we need to do in that spot. And that's the card for baseball here today on Thursday the 11th here in September. All right. Let's go to the trivia question, and we'll get the poll. Alex will finish up getting everything ready for the whiteboard here. Let's start with ticker trivia. On this date in 1983, Hall of Famer Franco Harris ran for 118 yards to become one of the leading players to exceed 11,000 rushing yards. How many total rushing yards did Harris log in the NFL, and who is the all-time NFL leading rusher. The answer, Franco Harris ended up logging 12,120 over 13 seasons, of course, primarily at Pittsburgh. And, of course, Emmitt Smith, your all-time leading rusher, 18,355 yards over a 15-year career. And JR gets on the board here on Thursday with Franco and Franco's exact total and Emmitt Smith's and his exact leading rushing total. So JR with the win here on a Thursday. For the poll question, who is most likely to score 2+ touchdowns tonight? Boy, big prices on this one here at the poll. Deebo Samuel at 13-1 is what the poll liked for 52%. The other choices were Kraft, Samuel, Reed, and Eckler here tonight. So a little bit more down the board here for those selections here.
Makes sense. I was waiting to hear Josh Jacobs' number or Jaden Daniels, but I like it too.
Yep.
Very good.
Samuel, the pick for that one. All right, Alex, you ready for the whiteboard here?
I am ready. I've got 2 football and 3 baseball. Trying to keep it going. 10-5 since last Friday in baseball. But starting with football, as always, taking the dog here. If you can find that 3.5, I would suggest grabbing that. Commanders at Lambeau playing against the Green Bay Packers. I'm taking the points here. I think that they are live to win this game outright. Wake Forest at home getting 7 points against NC State. I think they can hang around in this one. Going with a couple favorites here. I like the Tampa Bay Rays against the White Sox, just $1.25 with Seymour pitching. And then I like the Yankees here to stop the bleeding against the Tigers. Going first 5, though, half a run, -110. And then taking a shot with the dog, Angels +120 first 5, +140 full game against the Mariners.
I'm with you on the 2 football ones, especially if you can get a 3.5 at a good price. Go ahead on Washington and then make sure you get the 7 with Wake. Don't go lower. You cannot go lower. You obviously go higher. You get 7.5, great, but don't go if it moves to 6.5. Don't chase. I think we're in simpatico on that one. All right, we're back tomorrow. 2 shows: 10 a.m. normal show, Football Frenzy on a Friday, 12 noon. Myself, Alex White, Vinny Maliulo, Chris Andrews tomorrow on Football Frenzy at noon for this one. Alex, good luck.
Thank you.
Bring home some winners here tonight. Shout out to the crew: Ryan, Sean, Vince, Andrew, Doug, and Jerry. Thank you all as always. We're back tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10 a.m. for Sports by the Book, 12 noon for Football Frenzy right here on the Sports by the Book channel. We'll see you then. This has been Sports by the Book, live as always from the South Point Hotel and Casino in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada.